For over 10,000 years, the Hutt Empire expanded their territory and influence to become one of the greatest powers in the galaxy, until suffering a near fatal blow around 15,000 BBY, which nearly destroyed their civilization, forcing them to completely reform their government and society. Among the various theories that surrounded the origins of this terrible cataclysm, the Hutts themselves perpetuated a mythological explanation, claiming it started when the sun god Ivana was pulled into a black hole, causing chaos among the other planets of the system, which collided and broke apart into asteroids that bombarded their homeworld of Varl. Devastated by the loss of his mate, the sun god Ardos expelled his energy and collapsed into a white dwarf, destroying Varl's atmosphere to leave it a barren, desolate wasteland unable to sustain life. Others, however, claim the destruction of Varl occurred after a terrible civil war, in which the Hutts employed horrifying tactics and weapons of mass destruction that utterly ravaged their planet and system. Whatever the case, the remaining Hutts fled aboard a caravan of ships, believing their survival meant they were greater than the gods they once worshipped, and were destined to rule the galaxy as deities in their own right. In search of a new home, they eventually found the temperate forest world of Evakar in the Yatub system, steadily purchasing land from the native Evokai, a technologically primitive species gradually swindled into losing their entire planet. Relocated to the moon Nar Shaddaa, where the Hutts established a prominent spaceport, the Evokai were relegated to a permanent underclass used as a source of cheap labor. Renamed Nalhutta, meaning glorious jewel in Huttese, the planet formerly known as Evokar in the Yatub system had its greenery transformed into vast swamplands, producing a strong, pungent odor that greatly pleased the new Hutt population. Still reeling from the near collapse of their civilization, Budhila Hestilik Amura led their people to embrace a large-scale reformation, gathering a group of nobles who could trace their ancestry to Varl, so they might form the Hutt Grand Council to administer and enforce a new set of laws and customs based on the Khajiitic philosophy, which reorganized their clans into profit-driven syndicates led by a Khajiiti or Lorda. Known to have a number of meanings depending on the interpretation. Some of the translations for the Huttese word Khajiitic included business enterprise, the means by which we prosper, and somebody's gotta have it, why not us? No longer interested in military conquest, the Hutts now focused on manipulating galactic events from the shadows, using assassinations, theft, blackmail, subterfuge, and economic pressure to expand their influence. Although competition among the syndicates was encouraged to eliminate the weakest among them, Hutts avoided directly attacking each other in favor of fighting through mercenaries and slave armies, thereby minimizing the deaths of their own people. Dedicated to the Khajiitic philosophy, the Hutts once again started to expand their holdings, and in doing so engaged in border disputes with the growing Galactic Republic, resulting in raids on the planets Lexrol, Drogheda, Hathrox, Imram, and Parkove Minor. Plundering and enslaving these enemy populations, the Hutts' only defeat was on Parkove Minor, where the Belasco Free Volunteers successfully defended their homeworld and even launched a counterattack, slaughtering the Utadori and Vigilikai Khajiitics on the planet Afavan. These conflicts fomented fear, resentment, and hatred of the Hutts, allowing the human-centric, goddess-worshipping Pius Dea cult to rally support against alien species, growing their movement within the Republic until 11987 BBY, when their candidate, Constipex I, was elected Supreme Chancellor. Ruling the government for the next 1,000 years, Pius Dea launched dozens of violent crusades against various non-human species, greatly expanding Republic territory while gradually diminishing in popularity even among their own people. Initially targeting the unpopular Hutts, the First, Third, and Fourth Crusades were fought against the Khajiitics, pushing their borders back as much as possible. Yet as time went on, and Pius Dea continued to war with their neighbors, some of their own citizens started to abandon the Republic, with many migrating to Hutt space in hopes of a better life. The endless wars and violence inflicted by this radical government at last ended in 10966 BBY, when brought down by a powerful alliance that included the Republic Navy and Jedi Order. With the fall of Pius Dea, the Hutts returned to galactic prominence, growing their influence primarily through trade, even seeing a boost to their reputation when Blotus the Hutt, who grew wealthy administering mining planets, abandoned his allegiance to the Grand Council and joined the Republic, where he was eventually elected Supreme Chancellor. serving for 275 years during the Rhianitis period between 9000 and 8000 BBY. Blotus was remembered as one of the greatest leaders in Republic history, praised for his focus on economic development, enacting a number of positive changes, including tax breaks for independent merchants, which bolstered trade in the core worlds. Among the other notable figures that meaningfully impacted galactic events, there was Arba the Hutt of Koros Major, an unusually fair and sometimes generous business mogul that took in and raised the humans Gav and Jory Daragon after the deaths of their parents. In the year 5000 BBY, the Daragon siblings set off on their ship Starbreaker 12 to explore a new hyperspace route, and in doing so, accidentally discovered the Sith homeworld Korriban, arriving during the funeral of the legendary Dark Lord Mark Aragnos. Using them in his bid for power, the Sith Lord Naga Sadow recruited Gav Daragon as his apprentice, while allowing Jory Daragon to escape captivity in order to track her ship as it traveled back to the Republic. Upon solidifying his position as Dark Lord of the Sith, Naga Sadow began the Great Hyperspace War by invading Republic planets, including Koros Major, where Gav Daragon witnessed his men murder his father figure, Arba the Hutt, after which Jory arrived and furiously blamed her brother for the death of the one who raised them. Devastated by the loss of Arba and the harsh words of his sister, Gav abandoned the dark side and flew a ship to Sadow's meditation sphere, where he opened fire, distracting the Dark Lord long enough for the Republic to launch a counterattack and repel the invasion. On the verge of defeat, Sadow caused a supernova to destroy all nearby ships and their crews, including his former apprentice, who made a final act of contrition by giving the Republic the coordinates to Korriban and warning their fleet to leave before the explosion. Able to prosper for thousands of years through legitimate trade ventures, the Hutts faced crisis in 4000 BBY when the star of the Kier system went supernova, destroying their section of the Utmian-Pabul hyperspace route, greatly reducing the importance of Nal Hutta as a major commercial power in the galaxy. Forced to refocus their efforts toward criminal enterprises, their moon Nar Shaddaa transformed from a prominent trade hub to a seedy shadow port for smugglers and pirates. A special thanks to all those who contribute to Civilization X, like Tormus Woods Whisper, Edengruir Spicy Sky Frugran, Barachado, and Kyle Blitzsword. If you'd like to help the channel, be sure to give a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and click on the links below, or else go to patreon.com/civilizationx where you can gain early access to videos, vote on future content, and watch the Patreon-only series, Heroes of Lore and Legend.